Hey guys, it's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. So over the last month or so you would have noticed a bit of a change in my Instagram theme, and that is because I changed my filter. Again. I swear every single time I get a new filter I always say that I'm going to keep it for months and months and then I go and change it again. So basically the reason why I changed it again was because one, I wasn't loving the one that I was using previously, and two, I kind of just got sick of using paid filters, and because a lot of the time you can't actually test the filters, so sometimes you're spending like $60 on a filter and then after you've bought it you realize that it doesn't work with your photos. And I am just so over that trial and error that I have actually just moved back into the actual Instagram filters themselves. So the filter I use now is really luxurious and chic, which is the look that I was kind of going for in the first place. Like, it really matches the photos that I post myself. And over the last couple of weeks I've been getting a lot of requests as to how I edit my Instagram photos, because obviously you guys are falling in love with it as well. So I thought today I could show you how I edit my Instagram photos. So let's get straight on into it. Alrighty, so I'm just going to quickly go over the apps that we're going to be using today. So the first one is obviously Instagram. The second one is Lightroom, and the third one is Photoshop Express. So the first app I'm going to use is Lightroom. So in here I like to use this to brighten the photo and to also straighten it. So what I'm going to do is select the little plus button down the bottom to add my photos, and I'm going to go into my album called How I Edit My Instagram Photos just because I wanted to pick the ones that I wanted to show you guys specifically. So the first one here is a really close-up detailed shot that I took with flash photography on my iPhone. The second one is a selfie in a mirror with my iPhone. The third one is a detailed shot, but it's more further away than the other one, which is also with my mobile phone. And the fourth one is this far away kind of dark pic, but the sun on my face, which was taken on my DSLR camera. I forgot what camera I use, it's quite old. I will link it down below if you are interested. And then the fifth one I have is this one from the yacht party that I went to, which was taken on an iPhone, but obviously it is a bit different to all the other photos I take because it's got a lot of blue in it. And then the last one was also taken on my DSLR camera on a cloudy day inside. So the photo is quite dark, so the way that I edit that compared to the one outside is obviously a bit different. So I'm going to go in with the detailed shot. This one here. So I'm just going to tick the tick up the top, click on it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go across to geometry, and I'm actually going to use this to straighten the photo. So where it says off, I'm going to click that and I'm going to select auto, and as you can see it kind of straightened it a little bit. So after we've straightened the photo, we're going to go across to the auto button. I like to do this on most of my photos, but I'm just going to show you on this one it doesn't really work, and that is because of the flash photography. So it's trying to contrast all the highlights from the flash, and we don't want that because it just looks awful. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to press the undo button, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slightly brighten the photo, just the tiniest bit. So I'm just going to bring it up to 0.5, like that's all I'm going to do. After we've done that, I'm going to save it to our camera roll, maximum available. All right, so now that we've done that, I'm going to go into Instagram, and this is where we're going to apply our filter. Now, before you apply your filter, make sure you put your phone on airplane mode, because you actually need to select post for it to save into your camera roll. So you don't want to accidentally post it for everyone to see when it's not actually complete. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn my phone on airplane mode, and then I'm going to go into Instagram. Now I'm just going to crop the photo so it's like as much as I can, and I'm just going to bring it down a little bit just so my hands are kind of in the center. Then we're going to press next. And then I'm going to go across to the filter I use, which is called Aiden. So this is the filter that I will apply on every single photo. Now this next step I do again, depending on the photo, is this little Luxe button up the top. So this automatically brings it up to 50, but you can go ahead and put it wherever you feel it fits your photo basically. But I actually think that this works really well with 50, just because it kind of brings out the black a little bit more. It makes me look a bit more tanned, and it has that really luxe kind of look into it that I love. So I'm just going to press done, select next, and then I'm going to share. And obviously that's going to fail, but when we go to our camera roll, there we go. So once we've applied the filter, I'm going to go into Photoshop Express. Now this is where I like to play out with like the blacks and the sharpening and all that. So I'm going to go ahead to edit, go across to blacks, and I'm just going to bring that down a little bit just so we can bring out the color of the tights and the top that I'm wearing. Go across to sharpen. I normally put this on 90 for all of my photos, but because this is a detailed shot, I'm actually going to bring that to about 140, just because we really want the G's on the tights to really pop. Then we're going to go to the next one called Reduce Luminance, and I'm going to put that on about 60 just to soften the photo a little bit, just so it gives that kind of airbrush look. And obviously you can adjust that to how you want your photo to look. So I'm going to save that to my camera roll. So that is that photo done. So I'm going to go ahead and head back into Lightroom and edit the second photo, which is my mirror selfie. So I'm going to press the tick. So again, for this one, I'm going to use geometry and straighten the photo. Oh my god, what the hell? Photo. And then I'm also going to go into crop a little bit, and I'm just going to crop it so the side of the mirror isn't in the photo. So it looks like that. I might crop it just a little bit more actually, just so my face is more in the center. Like that. And for this one, I'm actually going to use the auto button because it just makes the overall picture really nice. But I'm actually going to bring the exposure up to normal, just because it was taken in my bathroom and it was a little bit dark in there because I didn't want to have the light on, otherwise I would have looked orange. So we're going to save that to our camera roll. Oh, and by the way, all of these apps can be used with airplane mode on, so once you've turned it on to apply the filter, you don't have to worry about turning it off. It'll all save to your camera roll. So then we're going to go back into Instagram, crop it to where we want, apply the filter, again play around with the Luxe. Here you can see that 50 is way too much for this photo because the photo is quite dark and a lot of my skin tone is in it. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring that down to about 13. I think that looks nice. Press next, share. And then once we've shared that, we're going to go into Photoshop Express, select the photo. Now here, I don't think we really need to play around with the black at all. I'm really happy with how it looks. So I'm just going to head across to the sharpen and reduce luminance. So sharpen, I'm going to put on 90, and reduce luminance, I'm going to put on 60. I might just play around with the exposure just a little bit. I might put that one on about 3 just to brighten it a little bit, but we don't want to wash me out. And then we're going to save that one to our camera roll. Alright, again, we're going to head back into Lightroom, select the next photo from our album, which is the detailed shot with the marble flooring. Now this was also taken inside, but it had a skylight in the roof, so the lighting is a little bit off, but once we apply the filter and everything, it's going to look perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and go to geometry, auto, changed it just a little bit, and then I'm going to press auto on the edit effects. editing effects tool. I don't know what it's called auto. And then again, I'm going to bring up that exposure just because we want the photo to be as bright as we can. So I'm pretty happy with that. Whoops. So I'm going to save that to our camera roll. And then we're going to take it into Instagram to apply our filter. And for this one, we'll press the Luxe. 50 again is way too dark because of the light setting that we were in. So I'm going to put that about 15. So I always find putting it between like 12 and like 18 is kind of like the perfect mark for like most of the photos. And then we're going to press share. And then we're going to go into Photoshop Express. I might bring down the black a little bit to about 15. And then I'm going to sharpen and reduce luminance. Now I don't like to touch the exposure until I've actually applied everything to the photo. I don't know why, but doing the reduce luminance and sharpen just basically completes the photo, and if something doesn't look right at that point, then you know you got to change something. So that's when I go in and play around with the exposure and everything. But I think for this photo, I actually really like how it is. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave that on 0 and save that to our camera roll. Oh my god, sometimes this app is so slow. There it goes. All right, next photo. The next photo is the one inside, but as you can see, the sun is quite in my face because of the sunlight. It was coming in on an angle in the morning. But here you can see it kind of looks a bit silly with my face kind of all lit up like that and my body not. So this one we really might have to play around with the exposure and all that just to make the photo look perfect. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and straighten it. Oh my god. Alright, so I'm going to press auto, go into light, and you can see this photo has actually brought up the exposure to 0.28. This is because the photo was taken on my DSLR camera, and on that camera they are generally quite dark. So I'm actually pretty happy with where it's put it. I might just creep it up just a little bit, just so the background of the center that I'm in kind of matches the sunlight that's on my face. So I'm going to bring that to about 0.50. Save that to a camera roll. And then we're going to go ahead and apply the filter. And we're going to go with the Luxe. 50 is way too much. I'm going to bring it to about 13. 13 is kind of like the number I go for. I don't know why, it just is. I know, the 13 just looks right with Luxe on those kind of photos. Photoshop Express. We definitely don't need any blacks in this because what it's just going to do is just going to darken up the purple colors in the photo, and I actually quite like how they look now, so I don't want to touch that. I'm going to go ahead and reduce luminance to 60, sharpen up to 90, and that looks pretty good. So we're going to save that to our camera roll. There it goes. Alright, back into Lightroom to apply, to edit our next photo, which is the beach one. Now this one is a bit tricky just because it has blue in the photo, and a lot of the time the Aiden filter actually makes blue turn green and it can look really, really gross. But from what I can remember, this photo turned out alright, but I will show you how you can fix it if the filter is too green. So what we're going to do is we're just going to press the tick. Go ahead and straighten up the photo. Alright, so we're going to press the auto. I don't like that. I look way too orange. I'm gonna leave that. And we're just gonna edit how it is. So we'll just use that to straighten it. Now we're gonna go into Instagram and apply the filter. I'm gonna go in with the Luxe. Again, I'm gonna go for 13 because that just feels about right. Share. So that one actually turned out all right. The water wasn't really green at all, but I'm just going to quickly show you what you can do to the photo if it is too green. So you can go back into Lightroom, add the one that we just edited with the filter, and then what you want to do is you want to go across to the one called color, and then you want to go up to the little rainbow circle called mix, and then you want to select, it'll probably be green or it'll be blue depending on how much is in the photo. And what you do, you just bring the saturation all the way down to 0 and the luminance all the way down as well. So for this one, it's like there's a lot of navy blue in the photo, so we're going to bring that saturation down, and you can see it completely cuts out all of that color. So if your filter is really green, just bring down that green and it's actually going to make it look a bit normal. But like I said, you can just play around with it and just do whatever you think works best. Obviously, everyone's photos are going to be different because they're going to be taken in different locations. The sun's going to be in different spots, you know. You really just got to think about this. You can't just apply a filter and expect it to look like mine, because obviously we're taken on different devices and in different places. So we're just going to go back into Photoshop Express and just finish the photo that we just did. So again, for this one, because I'm already quite dark because I'm outside, I don't really need to apply any black. So we're just going to go straight into the sharpen, again up to 90, and the reduce luminance up to 60. And that looks pretty good. Save that to our camera roll. There we go. Alright, so we're going to go back into Lightroom. We're going to add the next photo, which is the last one, which was the one taken inside, which is quite dark because it was on a cloudy day. So we're going to add that one. So this one I'm going to go across and straighten it because I can already see that it is absolutely crooked. So we're going to fix that. Now, if the photo really needs to be rotated, it does do that. You can see like all the grey around the borders because it's kind of like run out of photo to crop. So what you want to do is actually go into that crop button, and you just want to crop it so that there is no grey border in the photo. But because I have that Max Mara sign in the background, I'm just going to bring that down to my head, because we don't really need, you know, that much above the photo when there's nothing there basically. So we're just going to make it all about me. So I'm just going to bring it under, just under the sign. Just remember too, when you're cropping the photo, that Instagram does crop it a little bit as well. So when you're taking photos and editing them, you got to allow room for that little Instagram crop as well. It's really annoying, but you got to do what you got to do. So now I'm going to go into auto. So much better already. I'm going to go across the light and bring up the exposure just a little bit more, just because it was taken on a cloudy day on my DSLR camera, so it is quite dark. So I'm going to put that on about 30, I reckon. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So we're going to save that to our camera roll, and then we're going to go ahead and apply the filter for the last time. Adjust the crop. Next, apply the filter. Add the Luxe. Oh, that's too much. Too much Luxe. I'm going to do about 20 for this one, I reckon. That looks pretty good. Share it. And then we'll go into Photoshop Express, choose sharpen it and reduce luminance. All right, and then we're gonna save that to our camera roll. Alrighty guys, so that is how I edit my Instagram photos, and now it's your turn to get creative. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to my channel. And also don't forget to turn on the push notification bell as well so you can watch all of my videos. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope to see all of your photos on Instagram. Bye guys!